Greetings Barcode Battler fans, and welcome to my overview of the Irwin and Tomy releases of the Barcode Battler II. Just to clarify, the Barcode Battler II was rebranded as the Barcode Battler in the European and North American territories, where it was released in 1993. We've yet to see any evidence to suggest the system was released in any other continent, but if we ever come across it, we'll be sure to make a video about it. As you'll likely have worked out, it's been 30 years since the Western release, so without any further procrastination, let's dive into the Tomy and Irwin Barcode Battler. Two licensees were in charge of the Western localization of the Barcode Battler II. Irwin covered the USA and Canada, while Tomy handled Belgium, Denmark, Finland, France, Germany, Italy, Norway, Spain, Sweden, and the UK. While it may look like Tomy had the lion's share of nations, it's worth remembering that in terms of landmass, Irwin had the most ground to cover. Tomy definitely had a harder task when it came to translation into other languages, as Irwin produced an English language version for the USA and a bilingual French and English version for Canada. Tomy had to contend with localization in Danish, English, Finnish, French, German, Italian, Norwegian, Spanish, and Swedish, so they certainly had to work harder than Irwin. That said, Tomy seems to have sub-licensed the releases in Italy and Spain to the Ghiocchi Preziosi and Bithac toy companies respectively. Belgium appears to have had the French language release, even though it's only one of two languages widely spoken in the country. In the West, many new games from Japan are accompanied by their share of promotion. Before any hardware or software hits store shelves, the first people who must be convinced include those in charge of retail. This video footage comes from a 7-minute long videotape which came with our Spanish Barcode Battler, and includes imagery from the Irwin version, even though it came from a Tomy territory. The Irwin items in question include the logo they used on the box and the cards included with the hardware. I'll further explain the regional differences later on. As we can see, the presenter, who was likely speaking English, has been dubbed over in Spanish. If there's a surviving English copy of this tape, we'd love to see it, as our fluency in Spanish is flimsy at best. If we had to guess, these tapes were likely produced in multiple languages, perhaps even as many as the countries the Barcode Battler was released. As far as we understand, the presenter introduces the Barcode Battler as a device which can unlock the various combatants hidden in the barcodes of everyday retail products. The cards shown off are from the US version, as they only have one language on the back. A two-player battle is demonstrated between a pair of boys, one of which is wearing the same t-shirt as the presenter. The video then goes on to show how barcodes can be cut from the packaging of other items and attached to the blank cards which come with the handheld, followed by a brief explanation of the C1 and C2 modes. A link to the full videotape, as well as the videos we're about to look at, can be found in the description. Once the retailers are on board, it's essential to draw in potential customers. A 7-minute advert may be a little too long, so 30 seconds at most should do it. Japan had the iconic Barcode commercial for the classic model. Rest in peace, Strongo Congo. The video quality here might be subpar, but the only other one of these I could find had a severe audio sync issue. Now this is an advert. These cards look familiar. Let's see what the European ad agencies had to offer.
They are all around us. Millions of barcode warriors and wizards waiting to fight. Waiting for Barcode Battler to free their awesome power. But be warned, nobody knows what's really out there. The battle has just begun. Barcode Battler. Free the power!
I wish my Barcode Battler could punch holes through walls. It'd make redecorating a breeze. If the Spanish version of the ad is anything to go by, Europe simply received dubbed-over versions of the English commercial. Although the Italian advert is decidedly different, so perhaps some countries did receive their own commercials.
Scegli un guerriero e uno stregone. Armali di poteri magici e scatenerai incredibili battaglie dove con astuzia e strategia potrai sfidare l'imperatore boss. Ma attenzione, allo scontro finale ci puoi arrivare anche ritagliando i codici e barre che trovi su tutti i prodotti. E con questi, gioco gratis. Barcode Battler, l'energia è ovunque. Barcode Battler, la battaglia dei codici è chip pirati.
Let's see what North America had on their TVs. Oh, I can't seem to find any ads related to the Barcode Battler in North America. Well, let's stick with Europe for now.
This is the Barcode Battler, the latest craze in Japan, which is apparently even outselling the Game Boy. Barcodes are those black and white stripes that you get on all sorts of products that let the till know what the price is. The aim of the game is, of course, to save the world. To do this, you can enlist the help of various wizards and warriors. For example, if I chose Jawbreaker, if I turn it around, you can see on the back there's a barcode. And I can put this barcode into the barcode reader on the machine. And you can see it has allotted me 4,000 energy, 1,200 attack and 700 defence. Now, the Barcode Battler will come up with an enemy for me and give them a certain amount of points. And then it'll start a battle. And the aim of that is I've got to get the enemy's points down to 0, the energy points, and keep my energy points full. To help me, I've got all these cards, power-ups and special weapons and the like. Now, so far, so exciting. But the reason this is really popular is because you can cut out the barcodes on various groceries and use those to give you energy and warriors and the like. For example, this cornflakes barcode gives me 4,000 energy points.
Not to be outdone, you can now buy this in Japan. It's called the Barcode Boy. It's an add-on for your Game Boy and will cost about £45. But before you start saving up, I should tell you there are no plans to release this outside Japan. This is the only one in the country at the moment. Not as popular as I might have thought, though, because, well, all the instructions are in Japanese and nobody here can figure out how to use it.
Slight tangent, I also have a Barcode Boy, and I also have no idea how to use it. Maybe one day I'll get around to translating it. Of course, where there's hype, there's also fear.
Each warrior in the Barcode Battler game is created according to the signals received from everyday barcodes. But the game has been condemned by the Family Welfare Association, backed by psychologists, who believe shopping bills will rise as parents are put under pressure to buy unnecessary products so their children can keep up with their school friends. From 6 o'clock this morning, children queued outside Harrods to get one of the first games to arrive in Britain. Although News from South East was invited to film today's promotional event at Harrods, when we asked about the controversial spin-offs, our film crew was banned from the building. However, the manufacturers claim that with the individuality of British barcodes, the sales bonanzas experienced in Japan are unlikely to happen here.
It's not as though people are being pressurised into doing their daily groceries. That happens every day. And normally what happens is that we throw the software away, we throw the cartons away. In this case, they can be retained and put to good use.
The Barcode Battler will be launched nationwide in 3 weeks' time.
Remember, kids, video games are to be feared. Pac-Man promotes excessive tic-tac consumption, Tetris inspired the demolition of the Berlin Wall, and the Barcode Battler caused a recession. Maybe. I don't know. I'm not sure where paranoia leads a train of thought. Anyway, the hype train crashed when retailers decided to sell the Barcode Battler alongside the Game Boys and Game Gears, and the target demographic of children demonstrated their ability to tell a one-game pony from a machine capable of supporting many different games depending on the cartridges sold separately better than the store managers. It got so bad that this happened.
Now, Quinsworth and Crazy Prices together are giving away 10,000 Barcode Battlers free. You'll get a free game card every time you visit any Quinsworth or Crazy Prices store. Each card has a unique number which goes into a draw every week. Check your card numbers against the winning numbers displayed in store. Winners get their Barcode Battler on the spot. And remember, the battlers use all sorts of barcodes, and barcodes are everywhere. The Barcode Battler Mega Giveaway, only from Quinsworth and Crazy Prices.
In Germany, things got so bad they had to export unsold units to the UK, as seen with our German edition package complete with stickers intended to change the language on the cards. If you're unfamiliar with the story on the 5th chapter of the Conveni Wars saga, here's a quick rundown.
The 5-star Barcode Nebula existed long ago. On one of these worlds, the Convenient Star, the planet's guardian, Mother, was at war with a quartet of beings who called themselves Emperor God. 5 heroes answered the call and repelled Emperor God and quelled their ambitions. Many years passed, and time travel became a part of everyday life in a new age of peace. But a new threat arose in the form of Dr. Recycle, who revived Emperor God, stole the Register Stone keys which regulate the time travel system, and travelled into the past. After installing each of the Emperor's Guard as the rulers of the Barcode Nebula in 4 different time periods, history became distorted. Luckily, Mother had a spare piece of Register Stone and used it to send 6 new heroes into the past to recover the keys, defeat Emperor God, and bring Dr. Recycle to justice.
You alright?
Yes, just don't ever make me talk that fast again.
Now that we're all up to speed, here's what the Irwin manual has to offer.
The Barcode Store Wars. 500 years ago, in a galaxy just south of the belt of Orion, in the southern sky, there dwelt a race of people who were in many ways just like us, with a couple of differences. They believed in magic, and, oh yeah, I almost forgot, many of them were mutants. Thousands had been transformed, sometimes for good, sometimes for evil, by horrible wars that took place over thousands of years. This ancient race lived by a warrior code of honor that believed in individual battle. Each warrior was part of a large clan based on the type of produce the clan made or sold. These groups often fought wars of commerce over which foods could be sold in stores. The most bitter fighting was over products that we would describe as snack foods. Hence, there began the ever-enduring saga known today as the Barcode Store Wars. Around this time, 12 keys were discovered which held the secrets of time and space. These keys were seized by the evil Waste Doctor. To guard the keys, he hired ninjas, samurai, berserkers, mystics, amazons, gunmasters, paladins, mutants, mega monsters, and androids, and created an army of mercenaries. He divided this army into eras, each with 5 levels, and has hidden 3 keys in each of the 4 battle eras. The forces of good selected 6 heroes to recover the keys and destroy the Waste Doctor and his evil forces. In order to reach the Waste Doctor and his 9 most powerful henchmen, all the keys must be recovered, and the heroes must grow powerful by first destroying the army of mercenaries. Only then will the heroes be strong and wise enough to eliminate the 10 super monsters of Mode C2.
One thing of note here is that this is from the Canadian version of the manual. Among the minor changes from the US manual include some grammatical corrections and a change from referring to the Convenience Store Wars to the Barcode Store Wars. Other than that, they're almost identical. Overall, there are a few similarities with the Epoch story. Both tales are set in a distant region of space, and while the Barcode Battler II story omits the mention of clans, these were introduced in the story for the first game. There is mention of a doctor named Recycle in the Epoch version, and Waste in Irwin's. The only rational explanation we can come up with for this change is that recycling reduces potential sales, which would be bad news for the people of the Barcode Nebula who thrive from commerce. Irwin took a more environmentally friendly approach and made Waste the big bad guy. 12 keys exist, but the circumstances of their creation or discovery vary wildly. Differences include there being no mention of Mother or Emperor God, or any equivalent beings. The army in Epoch's C1 mode are made of the brainwashed inhabitants of each era, whereas Irwin presents them as hired mercenaries. Additionally, the classifications of ninja, samurai, and so on don't exist in the Epoch version. Next up, we have the Tomy version of the story, which exists in the instruction booklet, the personal battle manual, and on the back of the box.
The story so far. Look up into the southern sky on a clear night, in a galaxy just west of Orion's belt, and you may glimpse the Barcode Nebula, a hazy collection of tiny stars many light years away. The nebula is composed of a collection of light worlds, each inhabited by a different clan, and, for as long as can be remembered, each clan has always specialized in providing different products and services, hence the fast food clan and the candy clan. You may think it looks serene and peaceful, yet nothing could be further from the truth. In fact, all the clans used to live in harmony, sharing goods that the others needed. Those peaceful days were shattered by the arrival of the self-acclaimed Emperor Boss, the wickedest warmonger in the galaxy, who had, by some stroke of genius, discovered the secret of time travel itself. Not content with conquering the entire nebula in the present, he aimed to rule the past and future too. And so began the commerce conflict, fought throughout 4 eras of Barcode Nebulan time. This interstellar war has been raging for hundreds of our Earth years, a conflict so brutal, so terrible, that it has transformed the once peaceful inhabitants into hardened warriors, warring wizards, and mutilated fighting machines. Some treading the paths of evil, others battling for the forces of good, but all possessing fearsome fighting abilities and weapons of destruction. The conflict is going so desperately badly for the good Nebulans. On every light world in each era, the Emperor Boss has succeeded in installing 4 muscle-brained henchmen, led by a lesser boss. Meanwhile, suspended in a time-space void, he conducts his forces from the safety of his own battle station, protected by an Imperial Guard of 10 antimatter monsters, summoned from the negative universe. Only 6 Barcode Nebulans have escaped slavery. It is from these that you must choose 2 champions, 1 warrior and 1 wizard, each with unique weapons and magical powers. To succeed in their present quest, they too must travel through time by collecting special keys fashioned from a rare stone called Regista. By defeating the forces of evil in each era and collecting 3 Regista keys, your champions can travel to the next era, gaining strength and power as they go. Only when victorious in all 4 eras will you be granted the final secret passcode, enabling your warrior and wizard to enter the Emperor Boss battle station and face the ultimate test, the evil Emperor Boss himself and his hugely powerful antimatter monsters. Do not fail. The present, past and future of the Barcode Nebula rests in your hands.
Right away, we can see similarities to both the Irwin and Epoch versions. The Southern Sky and Orion's Belt are mentioned in both Tomy and Irwin versions, with a slight change of compass direction. Tomy refers to the Barcode Nebula, the same as Epoch, but which was omitted from the Irwin story. Clans are also mentioned, though here examples are given, such as the Candy Clan.
The Candy Clan can, 'cause they rot their enemies' teeth and make the jaws feel bad.
Make the jaws feel bad. There's no Doctor character, but according to the tagline on the box, the player must retrieve the stolen Regista Stone keys. Said keys aren't described as having been stolen in the story, but are simply needed to unlock the boss station in each era. There's no Mother equivalent either, but an Emperor also appears in both the Epoch and Tomy versions, though he gets downgraded from God to Boss, most likely to avoid controversy with religious groups. Here he's no longer a quartet of beings, but a singular being who invented time travel all on his own. While not explicitly mentioned, the C1 enemies are implied to be the ones treading the paths of evil, setting them apart from Irwin's mercenaries and Epoch's brainwashed civilians. Irwin's 10 classifications of C1 enemies don't exist here, with the only differentiation between character types being the warriors and wizards familiar to the Epoch original. This part of the video will largely be the same as the gameplay section from my previous video, so if you've already watched it, please feel free to jump to the next section. That said, there were a few minor points which I'd forgotten to include before, which may improve the gameplay experience a little. Upon starting the Barcode Battler, the player can choose from 3 modes: 2 of which are related to the story, and a third which is a 2-player battle. Pressing the select button allows for cycling through the modes, while set confirms the selection. This all seems very familiar. C0 mode allows for 2-player battling. Players can pit any warrior, wizard, enemy, or boss barcode against any other, be they official or something random cut out from a retail package. The escape function found in C1 mode won't work here, there's no running from another player. Upon entering C0 mode, player 1 must scan in their fighter, followed by player 2. Each player then has the option to scan an item. The Barcode Battler comes with various card types. The warrior type has access to weapons, protectors, and life cards in the Tomy version, or energy cards in the Irwin package, as well as survival cards. In rare cases, it's possible to scan another fighter in place of an item, but certain parts of both barcodes must be the same. When this happens, the stats of both fighters are added together, creating a fused fighter. If a player doesn't want to use an item card, they may press set to skip this stage. With the battle underway, the Barcode Battler will randomly choose which player will go first. This is indicated by the red LEDs below the LCD screen. Each player's battle button will initiate an attack, while their power button will allow the player to heal. Healing is limited by the number of survival points available. Each player starts with 5 survival points, and 1 is consumed each time the power button is used. Health points are capped at whatever value they had when the first combatant was chosen. Another battle feature comes in the form of the Magic and Survival screen. From here it's possible for wizards to choose between magic and survival points, but warriors only have access to survival. Select switches between magic and survival, then set confirms the selection. The survival screen allows the player to use 1, 2, or 3 survival points all in one go, restoring a bigger chunk of missing health points as more survival points are used. The magic screen is a little more complicated. The wizards have access to a selection of spells which are indexed as F0 to F9. Full details for these are explained in the manual. Effects such as reducing the opponent's stats, increasing their own stats, and stealing magic points are among the results you can see by using spells, but keep an eye on how many magic points you have remaining. Sadly, the spell names in the Japanese manual have been completely dropped. No attempt to come up with new names appears in either the Tomy or Irwin manuals. The first player to deplete their opponent's health points is the winner. C1 mode sees the player selecting 1 each of the warrior and wizard cards to take on the armies in each of the 4 eras. As previously mentioned, the 5 worlds of the Barcode Nebula exist in each time period, and each world is host to 4 enemies and a boss. Each opponent has set stats, but these vary slightly depending on your choice of warrior and wizard. The weakest opponents won't always be found in the first world. The 3 keys of each era are scattered between the 5 worlds. The individual enemy holding the keys also varies depending on the heroes in play. Cycle through the worlds by pressing select and choose one by pressing set. From here an enemy is randomly selected. The battle begins once the player has used the select button to choose their warrior or wizard and then confirm their choice by pressing set. At the start of each battle, the player has the option to flee. Pressing the R power button will attempt to do this, but it may fail on occasion. Give it a try if the enemy's stats look too high compared to your fighters. Escaping at this point will take the player back to the World Select screen. When the player is happy to continue, they can scan in a power-up item. Weapons, armor, health or energy, magic, survival, and news are all available in the box. If the player is content enough, pressing their set key will skip the item scan step. Once per era, it's also possible to use the news cards. This will narrow down the search for the Register Stone keys, which are vital for unlocking the boss station. With the battle underway, the Barcode Battler will randomly choose either the player or their opponent to go first. Battles play out in more or less the same fashion as in C0 mode, with the player using the L side buttons for battle and recovery actions. If a battle is going poorly, it's also possible to escape using the R battle button. A successful escape here will see the player face a different random enemy on the same world. The battle ends when either the player or their opponent's health is reduced to 0. Regular enemies and world bosses reward the player with small stat increases, while battle station bosses will give passcodes which confer a boost to all 3 stats. To view a passcode, press L power while the end of battle screen is still displayed immediately after defeating a battle station boss. On the reward screen, it's possible to enter the magic and survival screen by pressing select. Use this opportunity to recover lost health points before the start of the next battle. A feature unique to C1 is the ability to save game data. This can be done between battles by pressing the R battle button. Unlike a passcode, the save game will store all changes to stats, as well as which enemies have been defeated in the current era and which keys have been collected. Remember to save after each victory, or at least the ones where you haven't taken much damage. Loading a game can be done by pressing R battle at the point where soldier and wizard cards would normally be scanned. If at any point you've suffered a loss, turning off the Barcode Battler II, restarting and then loading the game will give you a fresh shot at making progress, without having to replay all the way through to that point. It's also possible to enter new hero cards between battles. Pressing L power will give the player the opportunity to replace one or both of their heroes, but all progress in the current era will be lost. To replace only one hero, press set when it's time to scan in the hero you want to keep. Remember, the warrior is always scanned first. Upon defeating Boss Tank in the Tomy version, or Irwin's Double Trouble Rubble, you'll be given a passcode which will make your hero strong enough to move on to the C2 mode. C2 mode sees the player take on the might of the Waste Doctor and his 9 most powerful henchmen in the Irwin story, or the 10 antimatter monsters as they're known in the Tomy version. After completing C1 mode, choose the same warrior and wizard to take on the might of the final 10 foes. After scanning a wizard card, press the L power button to enter the passcode you obtained at the end of Era 4. Pressing select will change the current digit, while set confirms the current digit and moves on to the next one. Once the final digit is confirmed, the entered numbers will either be accepted or rejected. A successful code will show the stats of both fighters being changed. Just to warn you, the enemy with the lowest number here isn't necessarily the weakest. 4 of the enemies will give the hero a stat boost when defeated, while 3 of the others will reward the player with another passcode. The remaining 2 drop a different stat by 30% for an extra challenge. Interestingly, the boss, Card Shark for Irwin players, or Darman in the Tomy set, numbered Enemy 6, more on that later, also gives a stat boost instead of ending the game. Looking more closely at the ability flags, the Barcode Battler doesn't have a boss flag, so C2 is technically endless. Other than that, the gameplay is more or less the same as in C1 mode. In all 3 modes, there's an element of timing which affects both the power and battle buttons, and so has an effect on the damage dealt and the health recovered. It's said that there are prompts both on screen and in the sound effects, so you may be at a disadvantage if you're playing with the sound off. Starting with the boxes, the original Epoch set came in a 5-faced cardboard box with no bottom. The polystyrene inlay made up the underside of the box, with the cardboard serving as a lid. Images of the various characters and cards adorn the outer surfaces of the lid, along with photographs of the Barcode Battler II. The information for customers and the barcode are also printed on the smaller sides of the lid. Interestingly, the story of the stolen Register Stone keys is printed in English, with the only noticeable grammatical error having the keys referred to in the singular. Next we have the US Irwin box, which features a large metal-looking logo with a yellow and orange gradient on the word Battler. This same logo would appear in the videotape which was included with our Spanish Tomy model. By far the most interesting thing on this box is the Barcode Battler itself. The words Irwin Card Battle System appear above the screen. This would have been Epoch Card Battle System on the Japanese model, but as with the Tomy version, the decal on the actual hardware simply reads Card Battle System. The back of the box is cardboard real estate that wasn't present on the Epoch version, and Irwin have taken the opportunity to outline the various game modes, how to make custom cards, how to scan cards, and an abridged version of the story found in the manual. As with the Epoch version, most of the consumer information and the product barcode can be found on the smaller sides of the box. The Canadian version is similar at first glance, but look closely and you'll see phrases in both French and English. Around the smaller sides we can see 2 of them are in English and 2 in French. The barcode takes up room on one of the French sides. I guess they drew the short straw. The back of the Canadian box has been rearranged to make room for English and French text. As a result, the lower right corner has lost the photograph of the Barcode Battler, along with the flavour text. The scanning diagram has also been removed. The interior of both Irwin versions is the same polystyrene inlay found in the Epoch version, which is now enclosed on all sides. The Tomy boxes are very much darker than the Irwin boxes. If you look closely, you'll see faded pictures of the enemy characters Darman and Droom, either side of the main image. A silvery-looking mechanical man with red eyes looming over the Barcode Battler, which is depicted with the decals found on the actual hardware. The UK version has the text English Edition in a red ellipse in the lower left corner. This is left out on the Scandinavian release, replaced with the distributors' logos in Italy and Spain, and missing again in France and Germany in favour of one of 4 sections of red text. The French version's red text outlines the 1 and 2 player modes, as well as telling the player to find the best barcodes on various products, with a mention that this is the French edition in the lower right corner. The German red text also mentions looking for the best barcodes, and mentions there are 3 modes. Sadly, our copy of the German box has this large orange and black sticker covering one of the blocks of text, so we don't know what would go here. The backs of the Tomy versions vary little across the different languages. The French version stands out here, as it has a photograph of a barcode battler surrounded by a selection of barcodes cut from various products, as well as a pair of scissors and some double-sided sticky tape. Now that sounds like a great night in to me. Also gone from here in the French version is the product barcode and the consumer information, which have all been banished to the smaller sides of the box. The German box follows suit, with a similar but noticeably different photograph of the Barcode Battler surrounded by barcodes and items of stationery. But the biggest crime here is this obnoxious sticker which covers the German text with English and throws in the missing consumer information. As with the French edition, the barcode and original German consumer information can be found on the smaller sides of the box. All of the Tomy interiors use the same polystyrene inset, with the exception of the German version, where it's made of cardboard. So far we have no information as to why this difference exists, so we speculate it's either a cost-cutting measure, or the regulations regarding polystyrene foam in toy packaging were different to the rest of Europe in 1993. As far as the manuals go, Irwin's US and Canadian booklets look similar on the cover, with the Canadian version having a C on the front cover as the main telltale sign that something's different. The first few pages are very similar, save for some grammatical corrections and the aforementioned change from convenience store wars in the US to barcode store wars north of the border. Looking further through the manual, from page 8 onwards, the pages are in a different order, but the content is largely the same. When looking at the C1 enemies, it's very clear that the illustrations are the same as the Epoch versions in exactly the same order. As expected, all the names are different, but the descriptions have been replaced by a type, such as Ninja, Android, Mystic, or any of the other types listed in the accompanying story. The battle difficulty gauges are still present, but without any writing to put them into context. The French-Canadian manual appears to be the same as the English-Canadian version, aside from the change in language, though without the C on the front cover. All 3 manuals largely follow a red and white colour scheme with blue text. The Tomy manuals have noticeable differences from each other across the various European countries. The front covers are all very similar in appearance, but the Scandinavian booklets are more than 1.5 times wider than the others. This is to accommodate 4 different languages. The instruction booklet has its content in Swedish, Danish, Norwegian, and then Finnish. The personal battle manual has its first page repeated in each of these languages in the same order, followed by card information with all 4 languages on one page. Card descriptions in each language are then crunched into 3 pages, followed by a gallery of C1 enemies without any descriptions. We suppose it would be unreasonable to translate 120 descriptions into 4 separate languages and cram them into one booklet. The colour scheme is silver and white text on a slightly purplish-blue background. The odd one out here is the French manual, which has beige and white text on a deep blue background. Inside, the pages feature blue, white, beige, and this orange-brown colour. Comparing the content with the other manuals of the same size, it becomes apparent quite quickly that the information is in a different order. Going back to the English, German, Italian, and Spanish manuals, we can see the dark blue, white, and silver colour scheme is present throughout, and the information is in the same order across all 4 editions. There was likely some extra room they needed to fill when putting the manuals together, so the story is repeated in both the instruction booklet and personal battle manual.
I do not need to see this again. It's on the box. Either have it on the box or in the manual. Don't need to do both.
Even with changes to the booklet size and overall design, all of the Tomy iterations feature only 60 of the original 120 Epoch C1 enemy designs. Eras 2 and 4 showcase these 60 in a mostly different order to the Epoch manual, while Eras 1 and 3 have all new artwork. Oddly, it wasn't any of our team who noticed this alternating pattern of era artwork, but my own son and heir, Combat King 1.
Get that microphone out of my face.
The most likely reason we think this may have come about was from the manual design being delegated to multiple individuals or teams who took different approaches to the design of their parts of the booklet. All of the designs are rendered in blue line art, in contrast with the red seen in the Epoch and Irwin versions. One extra edition of the Tomy manual exists, a black and white reproduction of the English manual packaged with the German set. Quite why the German boxes were shipped for sale in the UK isn't yet clear to us. Either the demand in Germany was dwarfed by that of the UK, and so the excess units were sent from the land of Oktoberfest to the island of fish and chips, or the system was packaged for sale in Germany but failed to reach store shelves for one reason or another, and the unsellable hardware was repackaged for English customers. The existence of an unmodified German box would disprove the latter theory and support the former, but we've yet to see one.
Heute geht es primär um unnütze Hardware mal wieder und diesmal haben wir hier den Barcode Battler, ein großartiges Gerät, wie ich finde, auch wenn es natürlich jetzt hier in unnütze Hardware abgelegt ist. Für viele hat es sicherlich auch keinen Nutzen, für mich...
We've yet to compare all of the descriptions of the 60 surviving enemies, but of the ones we have looked at, one stands out to me in particular. Green Charming is described as a fresh girl who cares for the skin of her allies. This seems to have been changed for her appearance as Lona, who is said to have a personal hygiene problem, which I think is quite mean-spirited. I understand we need to have a reason to dislike the enemies, but they could have picked another reason for the player to want to defeat her. The cards are where this gets to be very interesting. Looking at the hero cards from all 3, we can see that all 6 have been changed in each of the versions. The descriptions are also unique to each region, but the barcodes themselves are identical. The warrior designations are also a little odd in the Tomy version. Here they copy the Epoch numbering scheme, which starts at 6, due to the previous 5 being featured on the original white model Barcode Battler. Indeed, all of the enemy, weapon, protector, and health cards also copy the Epoch numbering scheme. Wizards, survival, magic, and news cards all start at 1, if only because they're the same in the Epoch set. Irwin ignores the Epoch numbering scheme entirely and starts counting everything from 1. Moving on to the enemy cards, we can see that none of the Tomy or Irwin cards match their Epoch counterparts. Between them, some of the Tomy and Irwin cards use the same art, but with a different layout. Some of the enemy art has been swapped, and some are completely replaced. Overall, the art style more closely matches that of the Irwin heroes than the Tomy ones. The numbers on the back also don't line up. Epoch has a long-running number scheme for their cards, starting at 83 due to the existence of earlier cards in the set. Tomy has no such numbers, but Irwin has them, and sensibly they start at 1. Epoch's enemies and boss follow on after the hero numbers, with the item cards following, but Irwin reorders things so that the item cards follow on after the heroes, with the enemies and boss coming last. The item cards come next, with Irwin using all of the artwork from the Epoch set. Of the 10 cards, Tomy only matches with 5 of Epoch's. The names of 8 cards are the same in the Tomy and Irwin versions. This is clearly not a rocket gun. The barcodes have been changed on all of the Irwin items, most of which now start with 209 instead of 000. The exception to this is life crystals, which are clearly grains of rice, and have changed from 016 to 003, nerfing the effect of the card to less than 20% of its original effect. To quote the angry video game nerd, "What were they thinking?" The ability of life crystals has also been changed from dealing triple damage to opponents of race 3 to a value which has an effect that we've yet to determine. Within the Tomy editions, the heroes and enemies all have the same names, with the item cards varying from language to language. Interestingly, the Scandinavian set comes with the same cards as the UK version. It's likely they didn't have room to fit all 4 languages on each card. The main differences between the 2 Irwin editions is the inclusion of French text alongside the English on the Canadian cards, while the US cards are English only. In our ongoing quest to learn all there is about the Barcode Battler product family, we've discovered the Meiji chocolate snack cards. Remember this advert from earlier? If we look closely, we can see some familiar enemies and certain heroes from the Irwin set. That's right, in our search for more information, we've discovered that this set we've dubbed the Meiji set. There are 40 cards divided into 5 groups of 8. The red, blue, green and purple bordered cards are all fighters, while the yellow cards are power-ups. None of the Tomy heroes can be found in this set. Like their Era 1 and 3 enemies, they appear to be sourced from somewhere else for the Tomy edition. The same goes for the Info Tracker, Magic Spirit and XF Armor cards. The Rocket Gun and Mandrake are all from the yellow group, as seen in this photo posted on the Japanese Barcode Battler wiki. The French version even references this in the name Vulcan Terminator.
Come with me if you want to live long and prosper.
As we can see from this image, also from the Barcode Battler wiki, Darman, Berguza and Air Dragon's names are all unchanged between this and the Tomy version. So, to answer the writer of Barcode Battler, Le Mythe Defunt, Darman's name, which in the French language is apparently a real potential adult movie star name, was copied and pasted from a Japanese card, which likely wasn't originally intended for international use. The localization team probably saw the Meiji cards, liked the look of them over Epoch's, and just went with the original names without any knowledge of French innuendo. Sadly, Gilga, Residon and Dolkun's names are all cut off the bottom of this photo, but pictures from various Bai listings show that they too have the same names in these versions. It looks like the localization team at Irwin decided to change the names for their release. Also among the green group are the Irwin Wizards Eagle Eye and Chip Chopper. Gummy Bear, the third Irwin Wizard, is from the blue group, along with the enemy Pop Stopper. The 3 Irwin Warriors, Rock Candy, Can Opener and Whip Chipper all originate from the red group. Zanbi, Barbarian, Pandoral and Droom all come from the purple group, along with Irwin Monster Candy Cane. We have a few of these cards. Perhaps one day we'll dedicate a video to this set when we're close to completing it. Lastly, we come to the blank cards. The Tomy set only has these white cards, inspired by similar Epoch white cards. There was also a Toys R Us variation of this card. Each package comes with 5 of their respective white cards. Irwin customers also had these two, Marvelous Mushroom and Honey Buns, of which the former we've confirmed is from the blue group of the Meiji set. Honey Buns has so far yet to be identified, but there are 2 cards, one for each of the purple and blue groups, that we've yet to find a clear picture of, so her art may be from one of those. Even the blanks in the Canadian version are bilingual. While the Tomy and Irwin Barcode Battler is the same machine as the Epoch Barcode Battler II, which for a short time outsold the Game Boy in Japan, this failed to translate to the same sales performance in Europe and North America. The idea of taking ordinary household items and putting them into a game is certainly interesting, and the Barcode Battler wouldn't be the last attempt at a barcode reading handheld game. After all, who wouldn't want to see their favourite can of mushy peas turn into an awesome wizard? But that's just it. We don't see the characters on screen. Some imagination is required, and if you're a capable artist, you can draw your amazing mushy pea wizard onto one of the white cards. All the Barcode Battler could show was a handful of numbers and symbols. Even the simple Tiger handhelds had basic graphics of a sort. Despite fears from family groups and the hopes of toy distributors, the decision to market the Barcode Battler next to the Game Boy and other versatile handhelds would kill momentum as word of mouth got around. A better sales strategy might have been to sell the set as an interactive card game. While not as popular as video games, at least until Pokemon came out, card games like Magic the Gathering, which came out in the same year, have proven popular enough to still be on sale today. Back when our forum was still online, our team was speculating as to the identity of Emperor Boss. With the help of our Japanese contact, Final Fighter, we received a translated version of the Barcode Battler II manual, which mentioned Emperor God. So we figured Emperor Boss was likely adapted from the character of Emperor God, name change to avoid religious controversies. Over the course of translating the first 4 chapters of Epoch's Conveni Wars, we discovered the backstory of Emperor God, so if you're interested, please check out our Conveni Wars playlist. I hope you've enjoyed this Regional Differences video about the Irwin and Tomy Barcode Battlers. If you found this video to be informative, please subscribe, like and comment. If you'd like to contribute to the Barcode Battler Museum and keep the lights on, we now have a Patreon account. Our list of Patreon supporters is about to go up the screen.
You are feeling sleepy. Your eyelids are growing heavy. You want to support the Barcode Battler Museum on Patreon and show this part of the video to all your friends for no particular reason. Now awaken and continue with whatever it was you were doing.
Don't believe this. Here I am using Combat King 1's college fund to import more cards from Japan, and we're not making any money from all these videos.
What? I was wondering why I got kicked off campus. We're enemies now.
Well, we'll just have to send Darman round to make you sign up. He knows where you live. Patreon supporters will receive access to our translated manuals a whole month before the rest of the world, so what are you waiting for? It's also the only legitimate way of accessing our Super Barcode Wars Dragon Ball Z manual translation. Thank you to everyone who's made it so far into the video. As a bonus fact, I'll demonstrate an undocumented feature that isn't mentioned in the manuals, not even Epoch's. To erase your C1 save data, with the Barcode Battler turned off, insert a 3.5mm audio cable into the hidden port on the left-hand side of the system, just below the L battle button. Now press and hold select and turn the machine on with the on-off button. As long as you hold down select, all of the LCD symbols and segments will activate, with the LED lights flashing in a left to right sequence. This will indicate the erasure of the save data. Our next video will cover the technical aspects of the Barcode Battler II, with the following video focusing on the Super Mario World cards. Thanks for watching, I hope you'll join us next time.